Whoa, yeah, it's not that bad. Hello everyone, and welcome to California Dream Drives. Today we're talking about something a little unusual. This video is not about a high performance car, an old classic, or some super rare special model. Instead, we are talking about a gem that's still current, well within reach of most people's budgets, and a car that you can buy and enjoy every day. What is this unsung BMW hero? Let's explore. Most everyone is familiar with the F30 version of the BMW 3 Series. It was the 6th generation 3 Series, and as always, it was wildly successful. The F30 model line was made from 2012 to 2019, but along the way, something rather unusual happened. As usual, customers could choose from a 4-door sedan, a 2-door convertible, and a 4-door wagon, and of course the souped-up M3 versions of the sedan and the convertible. But then, to make things clear as mud, BMW added a 4 Series designation into the mix in 2013 for all of the 3 Series cars with 2 doors, except they also created a 4 Series Gran Coupe, which per the model designation would be a 2-door car with 4 doors, which doesn't exactly make sense. But that's not actually what we are going to talk about today, because in 2013 BMW also created yet another completely new model, the 3 Series Gran Turismo, or GT if you will. Inspired by the 5 Series Gran Turismo, which pretty much no one liked, they created a similar 5-door hatchback concept for the 3 Series, and this one made a lot more sense. You see, the 3 Series Gran Turismo is no ordinary 3 Series. It's bigger and better in almost every way. Because while BMW was building regular 3 Series cars for most of the world, they were also building a special long wheelbase model for the Chinese market, and it was the platform for that car that was used for the 3 Series Gran Turismo. This resulted in a car that was both longer and taller than the regular sedan, and this made it unmatched in both passenger and cargo space. The 3 Series Gran Turismo is a whopping 8 inches longer than a regular 3 Series sedan or wagon, and it's also 3 inches taller. And in a world where we're used to using decimal points when comparing available space, both of those numbers are a big deal. The long wheelbase platform results in more rear legroom than a 5 Series sedan and more cargo space than a 5 Series wagon, and all of that in a 3 Series package and with a 3 Series price tag. And because the car is taller as well, the headroom in the rear is crazy good too. As always, I'm 6'4", or around 192 centimeters for those in the metric part of the world, and look at how well I fit, even with the front seat adjusted to my preferred driving position. The overall seating is also slightly angled, so rear passengers sit up just a little bit higher for a better view. Hey you there! Are you enjoying this video so far? And would you like to see some more videos about BMWs and Porsches and Mercedes and Teslas and soon to come supercars too? And now would be an excellent time to gently nudge the poor and overworked like button. And how about maybe subscribing? I know, it's a huge decision and a commitment. Do you have room for another channel in your subscription feed? And what even is a subscription feed? What terrible things might happen if you decide to subscribe? But I think you can do it. I have faith in your bravery. Go ahead, show the world just how daring you are by clicking that subscribe button right now. It will really make my day.
Like, totally.
Well, that was odd. Moving on. If we look inside of the trunk area, we can see that it is positively cavernous. It is of course full of all of the usual little BMW practicality items like grocery bag hooks, movable tie-down eyes, straps, privacy covers, etc. But the main thing you notice is just how big it is. And if you need even more space, BMW has included these nifty little remote releases for the rear seats, which can turn the GT into a veritable cargo hauler. But I think it's ugly. My sister's friend's hairdresser said it is ugly. It's just a 3 Series. They're everywhere. Well, if that's how you feel, I can't help you, but you're just wrong. A lot of people have described the styling of the 3 Series GT in less than flattering ways, but I think the design is really sharp, and like many BMW designs, it has grown better over the years. These days, coupe shapes, like the one on our X4 here, are all the rage, and the Gran Turismos introduced that shape before any of all of the other trendy coupes out there. I think the GT is just beautiful. From the front end, the car looks mostly like any other 3 or 4 Series sedan, but from the side, it is clear that it is anything but. The long, sloping roofline is pretty and proportionate, and the rear end is downright sexy. There is more heft and style to the GT than the normal 4-door sedan, and when you drive a GT, you made a design decision that's different from the masses, and I like that. Inside, the design is very similar to that of a regular 3 Series, and obviously the tech in this 2014 model is starting to feel slightly dated, but it still works well and it looks good. I love the little red accents everywhere in this trim. It's carried nicely from the stitching in the seats to the armrest on the door and across the entire cockpit with this little matte aluminum strip. The contrast between that and the gloss piano black pieces is stunning and sporty. The overall feeling is far from opulent, but in typical BMW style, it's minimalistic and functional while still being elegant and with a feel of solid quality. Of course, there is more to a car than just looks and practicality. The main thing a car does is drive, so let's talk about how this 328i GT drives. There are two things that are immediately clear, and those are what this car is not. It is not an SUV, although you do sit a little bit higher than in conventional sedans. You don't ride high, but you do ride very comfortably, especially in cars equipped with BMW's excellent sports seats. The driving position in this car leaves you feeling much more connected to the road than most SUVs, and that's a good thing. The GT is also not a sports car. BMW likes to call their 3 Series cars sports sedans, but unless you step up to the M Sport trim, or of course all the way up to the M3 trim, you're not getting a sports car. But that's not a bad thing at all. 99% of all driving done is about getting from point A to point B in an efficient and comfortable and maybe even a little bit of a fun way, and the GT is perfect for that. It's an excellent road trip car that will have everyone feeling happy at the end of the trip. I have cars that can be immensely fun to drive, but will have you cramping or leave your body and brain feeling stressed out after just 30 minutes of driving, but the GT has none of that. What it does have in our 328i trim is 245 willing horses in a brilliant 4-cylinder engine and all-wheel drive. Now, 245 HPs may not sound like a lot these days, but the car never feels low on power for regular driving, and it offers quite a fun and engaging experience for this level of vehicle. The car will also happily eat up curves, and most people's comfort zone will end way before the GT is pushed to its full handling potential. It is obviously not a race car, but it is a very capable grocery and people hauler, and I wouldn't hesitate to go road tripping in a GT, no matter if the trip consists of mainly freeway driving or includes great winding back roads. I'd also be more than happy to drive it to both the local supermarket and to the latest fashionable restaurant. It just seems to fit in everywhere. Can you tell how much I like this car? It's hard to put a finger on, but to me, it just feels better than the regular sedan in every possible way. explore the sportiness of this car just a little bit more. Let's see what happens if we put the car into sport mode. I think it's the little button down here, and as always with BMW there are multiple modes. There's Eco Sport, Eco Pro Sport, no, Eco Pro, which we definitely don't want. There's Comfort, and then there is Sport. Let's see what happens. Whoa, that's not bad. I mean, clearly this is not a supercar or anything like it, but for a little four-cylinder engine, that acceleration is pretty decent. It's certainly worth some fun. Not a sports car, not a supercar, but there's pretty good pep in that little engine. Let's see what happens here if we can find a little bit of twisties. Holding its own in the curve very well. I mean, again, not a sports car, but very capable for just your regular daily, well, not sedan, but GT. Go again, flat out and in sport mode. I'll take that acceleration any day from a regular daily driver. That's a lot more fun than you would think when you first get into this car. As always, with the newer BMWs, you can shift with the paddles on here too, and let's see what happens if we try to do a little downshift here. Yeah, there's not much you can hear in terms of the downshift, but I have to say the shifts themselves are surprisingly quick. Much quicker than I expected. They're pretty much instantaneous, which is really surprising. But again, there's just no excitement around the shifts. It's not a feature that you'll really be using. But if you were to drive your car manually, you certainly can. If only they could add a little bit more sound to the exhaust, that would really go a long way. I know that's not how BMW is trying to market this car, but with this fun engine in there, it would be great with just a little bit more exhaust note. So who is this car for? If you're looking to buy a pre-owned mid-level luxury sedan, this GT is a slam dunk. You pretty much get more of everything and you don't give up anything. If you're a lover of wagons or estate cars, touring cars, station wagons, and whatever else they're called around the world, like I am, you may prefer the looks of a wagon over a GT. And if style is what you're basing your decision on, I can certainly understand that. But in exchange for that style choice, you will be giving up both cargo space and a level of uniqueness by not getting a GT instead of a wagon. And finally, if you're looking for a mid-size SUV, the GT may be the car for you as well if you value driving experience. You'll get most of all of the conveniences of an SUV while still being able to have an engaging driving experience. But you will, of course, have to give up that higher driving position. In today's US market, an early 328i GT with less than 80,000 miles on it will start at around $16,000. That is a very attractive proposition considering how much car you get for your money. If your budget is in the high teens to the low 20s, you owe it to yourself to give the GT a look. The model did go through a small design update in 2016, which is worth keeping in mind as well. And in addition to that, you can also get a GT with a 300 horsepower 6-cylinder engine. This will obviously up the price somewhat, but if the standard 4-cylinder isn't enough for you, the 6-cylinder may be just what you're looking for. We have been lucky enough to own this 328i GT for the last 3.5 years, and it's been nothing but a pleasant experience. Maintenance has been minimal and driving pleasure and utility have been high. If I were given the chance to go back in time and make a different decision, I can happily say that I wouldn't change a single thing. The GT is great for all the reasons that we've talked about today, and that is why I think that it may be the most overlooked BMW ever. But what do you think? Please let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'm dying to know how you feel about the topics that I talk about. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and remember, kindness makes the world better. See you on the next one.